pop star at 18.
Oh, yeah.
Grammy winner at 19.
Oh, my God, you guys.
Down and dirty diva at 22.
She wanted to show us, like, I'm growing up, and you're going to have to take it or leave it.
But Christina Aguilera's wild ride to the top of the charts has not been easy. She was harassed as a kid.
That little ring of people who made our life so hellish.
Vilified as a Britney wannabe.
I just felt like I was in this bubble that I couldn't get out of.
And trashed by fashionistas.
They had to be like, Christina, dress like a whore.
Christina took the shots and fired right back.
Don't act like you know somebody or judge them, you know, based on maybe you've seen them for 20 seconds until you really live it, live it, live it.
For the next 2 hours, you'll really live it as Christina lives it. This is one electrifying performer who defies the odds and delivers the goods.
Uh-oh, here we go, here we go.
Christina Aguilera's life wasn't always something to sing about. She was a natural performer who worked hard to escape a painful childhood and turn herself into a superstar. But don't hate her because she's young, rich, and beautiful. At age 22, Christina's experience is a crash course in what it means to be talented, driven, and misunderstood.
Let me whip these dances into shape. My mom has always raised me to be like, as soon as you start taking it for granted or as soon as you know, get a big head about it, it can be taken away like that completely.
For Christina Aguilera, life was never a free ride. Born December 18th, 1980 in Staten Island, New York, Christina was the first child of Fausto and Shelley Aguilera. Fausto was an immigrant from Ecuador. Shelley worked as a translator.
When Christina was born, it changed my life completely. Oh, goodness. She was a tiny thing.
She may have been small, but Christina already had an ear for music and a voice to match.
Christina literally started singing when she was in diapers. She couldn't talk yet. And I would have her in a grocery cart in her little chair that you put infants in. And every time we passed under a speaker with music on it, she changed. She would perk up and listen.
Before Christina turned 1, her father Fausto unloaded some shocking news. Us Weekly Entertainment editor Lori Majewski.
Faust surprised Shelley. He was like, I'm in the Army. And for Shelley, that instantly meant that they were going to be moving.
I didn't know what to think. I was speechless. But I didn't have to say anything of my own life. And that, I thought, was a very, very major thing that I should have been consulted about.
So they came to live in San Antonio, and then as far away as Japan. This is really, really hard on a young woman who had a young child.
The move to Japan strained an already troubled marriage. Christina was Shelley's greatest joy and eased the pain of living so far away from home. The little girl regularly charmed her mom with some familiar show tunes.
When she was like 2 and 3, I had the soundtrack for The Sound of Music. And she loved that movie. She loved Julie Andrews when she went up on the mountain and sang The Hills Are Alive. And she would twirl around in the living room and she would sing that song.
I definitely connected with that movie. Not to be corny, but, you know, just free and alive in the hills and everything. And I don't know, I just related to that.
She would throw the window open in Japan every day in her bedroom and sing every day.
It's really hard for a young girl who doesn't even speak the language there. She didn't have a lot of friends. So her friends would be her dolls, and she would put on performances for her dolls. She would sing to them.
Meanwhile, her parents' marriage continued to deteriorate. The fights between Shelley and Fausto became raucous.
People say, why didn't she just get out of the situation? If it was really that bad, don't you just get up and leave and get divorced? It wasn't that easy. Remember that Shelley was a young mom. She had a young daughter. They did not have a lot of money. It's not like they could just charge up on a credit card and get a flight home.
I think that's, you know, my childhood and what, you know, I witnessed pretty much every day with the problems between my parents. I think that really was the reason I embraced music so much. It was just my way of just like trying to zone out of reality of what was really going on.
On June 6, 1986, Shelley gave birth to her second daughter, Rachel. That same year, the Army transferred Fausto from Japan to Fort Dix, New Jersey. By this time, Shelley and Fausto fought constantly. Mother and daughter lived in fear of Fausto's temper.
Christina would ask me every single day, here she is 6 years old only, whisper at night, can't we go live with Grandma yet? Why can't we go live with Grandma?
2 months after moving to Fort Dix, Shelley saved up enough money to escape her marriage. She packed up the girls and headed for her mother's home in Rochester, Pennsylvania.
Christina, I remember her in that car, looking back, you know, she was 6 years old. But Mommy, what if he comes home? He's gonna drive by. What if he takes a lunch break and drives by with his friends and recognizes our car?
She's amazing, enduring what she did and taking her kids out of that situation and putting food in our mouths and having to kind of do it alone and being the one parent in the household or whatever. I've learned so many lessons from that.
Shelley moved the girls in with her mother, Delcy Fiddler. Shelley knew Christina loved to sing, but it was Grandma who first recognized the 6-year-old had a gift.
My mother noticed Christina's unusual talent first because I was kind of still in survival mode and my, world was spinning, but my mom said, wait a minute.
Christina's uncle, Jim Fiddler.
What was interesting was sitting at my mom's table, and she yelled upstairs to say, Christina, turn that radio off. And there wasn't a radio on.
My grandma really took a big interest in what I was doing, and she definitely was there to support and telling my mom, this could be something more than just, something she loves to do.
She says, she's going to be famous one day. Nobody sings like that at that age.
Christina's first grade teacher, Penny Householder.
We did a lot of singing in my classroom, and one day we sang Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And all of a sudden there was somebody singing louder than I was. And I couldn't believe it. I found myself going, come here, you got to hear this little girl sing. And nobody could believe it, that this wonderful, wonderful voice would come out of such a tiny child.
It just was a way to release all the tension or bad energy out from me and just through my voice, so it's a great feeling.
I wanted her to be in the talent show. As Christina, I knew that she would just be sensational up on the stage in front of everybody.
Shelley didn't mind, as long as Christina was happy.
Most of the parents in Rochester didn't realize that she had such a wonderful singing voice until the first talent show came about. For Christina, they closed the curtains and they put a big spotlight on her. She started to sing, and it was just, you could have heard a pin drop.
She was so good and so small that it was almost disconcerting, unsettling to certain people. This little girl could belt out a song like a 20-year-old.
6-year-old Christina was clearly born to perform.
I hadn't had any vocal lessons or anything like that. I just kind of went up there and did my thing, and my grandma taught me how to work the stage.
After the first year, when she was so sensational, she did it again in 2nd grade, 3rd grade.
No.
I had, gee whiz, every mother under the sun coming up to me, you have to enroll her in Star Search. Send an audition tape into Star Search.
Finally, Shelley took a chance and sent Christina's audition tape to the producers of the TV show. Star Search talent scouts called her back in less than a week.
When I made it, it was just like, oh my God.
At that point, she was 8 years old. That's when the mother stopped talking to me.
Coming up.
I would actually time it so that she would go right into class so nobody could jump her.
And later, dueling divas.
It was that whole high school mentality of pitting the good girl against the bad girl.